Well, hello and blessed Astara. And I mean that
Blessed a star to
literally.
you.
How are you today?
Hoping it gets warmer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well,
Hoping
I
it
mean,
gets
with
cooler.
a star is here, so that usually means the warmer temperatures, but not this week.
That's true. Remember, the light returns.
Yeah, we're not going to hit the highest we're going to hit over the next 14 days is 61 degrees.
Well, it is 60 and partly cloudy outside the Chubs Gone Wild remote studios. We started the day with a little sunshine,
Yeah,
but
that's as far
it's
as it's going to get though.
yeah.
And then we got rain uh tomorrow and Wednesday and then next Monday and Tuesday. So the rain still continues. Did you hear that they said, "Oh, we don't have a La Nina this year." Oh, really? Hey,
Yeah.
you just figured that out? Gosh, I figured that out when my backyard, flowed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's good times.
Good.
But and they're still gonna make us go 2 days a week on watering.
Well, I guess we really don't need it. Maybe we can save up. Like for every day that we don't need to water that we could have watered, we just do it during the summer.
Yeah, I wish that were true because I
Yeah.
don't water from basically, I think it's like mid-October through like probably April 1st, April 15th,
Mm,
somewhere in there.
yeah. Well, I canceled my lawn service for like they wanted they wanted to up it from once a month to twice a month, and I said no. And so I canceled the second one during the month, and now it's grown so fast that it's all over 6 inches. So now they're going to charge me extra to do it anyway. Girl, got you coming. They got you going, but they ain't giving you any pleasure while they're doing it. If you know what I mean. Anyway, hey, it's Chubs Gone Wild, episode 486, recorded on March 20th, 2023. Happy Astara! Yay! Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. Maybe
Yes.
but spring for pagans is a bit more fun than Easter for Christians going in church. I don't know why, but most Christians that just go to church and especially the white ones, they sound so pathetic when they're singing. They sound like, oh my God, what happened? So yeah. Anyway, but it's also 20 days until Christian Easter, when the pagan bunny brings good things to all the fun people to celebrate their uh, risen stuff. I don't know. Uh, anyway, 225 days till Halloween and 280 days until Christmas. A lot of Christ in all of that. Anyway, hey, Patreon offers folks a way to support creators and receive rewards not open to the general public, like special podcasts, videos, books, and more. And we want to thank our current patrons: Clint Nephi, Nick DJ, Stasing from the universe, Eric, Sean, Charles, Brothers and Phoenix Dave, Kingsley, and Moose P. Please visit patreon.com/Matt Burlingame if you would like to find out how to become a patron of the show for as little as $1 a month. I almost said a day again, but it's a
Look,
month.
I've got a throat vagina.
That's true. That's very, very true. You're shitting on a lot of guys right now
It was
that
so
are
funny.
very, very confused. So,
Now that I've got this, my sister yesterday goes, "Wow, you're looking a lot like dad."
oh, hey, your dad was kind of hot.
Well, it's funny because I was telling her that in the morning, you get up and you go to the bathroom, you go sit down, you're peeing, you're thinking, do I have to poo? And I look up and there's a mirror right in front of the
Uh-huh.
toilet where you have the shower. I have a mirror. That's where everything is.
Mhm.
And I open, I look up and I'm like, oh my God, my father's taking a shit. Um,
Oh, dear.
I
Ugh.
know. And it was, it's one of those momentary split second things that runs through your mind. But it's like, yeah, the older I get, the more I look like my dad, even though I have my mom's nose.
No, that's true. I'm a perfect blend of both.
Yeah, but I got the best of both. I don't know if you did, because I
Uh,
got my dad's hair and my dad's teeth and my dad's Well, I don't know about the eyes. I think, yeah, my dad was just farsighted. So eyes, the good stuff, and the basic physical makeup too. So
Yeah, yeah. No, I got pretty much everything after my mother, except there were certain things from daddy that I got, like a smaller mouth.
wiener,
Uh, hmm?
wiener.
Oh, definitely that came from the other side, if you know what I mean. The one that's related to centaurs. Anyway,
Oh,
no. What else? My hair, definitely dad. Well, could have been either, but I have it, so yeah. Uh, but I also inherited his ability to, whenever he got hungry, he would sneeze, and I
yeah,
have that.
I inherited that too.
And also, now I don't know if he had this or not. Um, it seems very weird, but it is an actual thing. I can smell ants.
I can't smell ants.
Yeah, a lot of people, like I was talking to Nephi about this recently, a lot of people just they don't smell ants, but there are people that can smell and I looked it up, and there's some sort of acid or something that they have, and that just some people can smell. So,
When I was younger, I used to be able to smell. My nose was very, very strong,
hmm.
and I could smell who was on their period at the time.
Oh God.
Yeah.
All right. So
No,
today,
it's, you know, I could also tell if somebody just jacked off too.
oh
I could
well.
still, I could still smell cum in the air.
So on March 20th, 1862, Harriet Beecher Stowe's anti-slavery novel Uncle Tom's Cabin is published. The novel sold 300,000 copies within 3 months and was so widely read that when President Abraham Lincoln met Stowe in 1862, he reportedly said, "So this is the little lady who made this big war." So, and of course, it's an anti-slavery novel, which means that Marjorie Taylor Greene would like to ban it from all public schools. There you go. Well, today's affirmation. Sorry, I'm just getting rid of yesterday's affirmation. I've already absorbed it. Today's affirmation. I feel. Oh wait. I fulfill my creative side. I want to bloom wherever I am planted.
That sounds like a Nick Cannon thing.
Who's Nick Cannon?
He used to be married to Mariah Carey, and he's now known as the ultimate baby daddy. He's got like 12 kids. He had like 8 kids
No,
during the pandemic.
no. Oh, wait. No, I don't want
with
to know.
with
I don't
different.
want to know. La, 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 la. Okay, well, let's see if we celebrated any holidays today. If we did, it was not intentional. Today is Act Happy Day. Oh, there you go, right off the bat. We did it. It's also Alien Abduction, Atheist Pride Day, Bibliomania Day. Okay. Crawfish Cravers Awareness. Do you crave crawfish?
I don't crave it, but it's good.
I don't even know
It's
if I've
kind of like
ever had it.
crab.
Yeah,
You can't have that.
I remember a story in my family that one of them crawled up uh, my father's pants leg, and he was certain that my uncle did it, but my uncle still denies it. Anyway, it's also French Language Day. Great American Meat Out. I
What does that
not
even
eaten
mean?
meat this morning yet, so maybe.
Oh, okay. So last night I was watching TCI, TOC,
Hmm.
Tournament of Champions on Food Network, right? So
Yes.
one of the things that they had was a yellowfin tuna that they had to use.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know what yellowfin tuna is, I mean, that's we're talking it's it's well, usually they serve that without anything else. It's served with like a ponzu sauce over it, and you
Hmm.
eat it raw. It's so beautiful.
Okay.
They each got a loaf of it that was this size. It was the size of a box of Kleenex.
I
And
remember.
you
Yeah.
go to McCooney's, and you get like maybe 4 or 5 inches of that, and they're sliced into little, like gum slices,
Mm.
like with Wrigley spearmint gum. So, and then they pour some ponzu over there, and this was a fucking brick. I was screaming during it.
That was a lot.
Sorry, sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
it's also today is Hufflepuff Pride Day,
What?
which Hufflepuff Pride,
Okay.
which we know is not a thing because there is no pride for
Not at Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuff. Sorry. Anyway, moving on. It's also International Astrology Day, Day of Happiness, Day of Nowras.
I think that we should start saying that Hufflepuff was the drama and band section of the school. That would make sense because, I mean,
Yeah,
you got your Slytherin, which are your the GOP.
the jocks and the assholes. Oh,
No, 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 no. The jocks were also all over the place. That was
oh,
fine. Ravenclaw was actually more of jocks, because I think it was that's where what's his
Cedric.
Cedric was. Cedric, wasn't he from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
And
trying to remember. I thought Cedric was he Ravenclaw or was he um what Harry a Gryffindor?
no, no, he's not Gryffindor. That
No?
was Oliver. You're thinking Oliver.
Oh yes. Yes, I was.
Yeah, because
Hello.
yeah. I just saw him recently. He looked very pretty too. He still
Uh,
looks good. Of course, now he's only, 15. No, I'm kidding. Now he's 30. It's so
I was gonna
scary.
say.
Actually, he's probably older than that. He's probably 35 or 40 because,
Oh yeah, because he was a little bit older than the rest of them.
well, yeah, he was I think he was like a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
So
Seventh year.
17, and it's been 22 years, 23 years. So 40, okay, he's out.
Really? He's not even old enough for me to date yet.
Ugh.
Anyway, let's see. Okay. It's also Earth Day, Bach beer. Jump out. Okay. Kiss your fiance. Storytelling. I've seen that one. Sparrow, Frog. World Day of Theater for Children and Young People. Won't you be my neighbor? The first day of spring. Oh, they actually got it in there. Snowman burning. Proposal day. Didn't see
And the
that coming.
snowman burning, is that a Burning Man somewhere else?
Ah,
And the whole thing
no,
about Burning Man is that you barely have clothes on and it's super hot. So now
that's
you're
true.
in
Maybe
parkas and
maybe
yeah.
because it's the first day of spring, it's like, that the snowman is burning because the sun came out or something. I don't know.
Bleh.
It's also National Native HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. It is also National Ravioli Day, Welderly Day, which I think means well elderly people,
Thank you.
Nowruz, which is Baha'i, and then oh look, it's Ostara. Oh no, thank you. All right, so those are the holidays. There was a few that we celebrated. We're in it. Um, and by the way, a few more. Yeah, Happy Bacon Month.
Bacon, 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 bacon.
Yes, cake corners and selling houses and doing all sorts of fun things. She's good. She is the living embodiment of one of my books. Now, for those that don't read them or get them and then don't read them, basically, most of my books and stories are about people who just find themselves at a point of life for some reason and say, no, I'm done. And they completely reinvent themselves, whether by necessity or whether by, uh, whatever. So my books are very, somebody who's transforming, basically. And Ms. Bacon is just the most amazing, kick-ass, ready to get on to the rest of her life. I'm just amazed, just
It's a big
absolutely amazed. So happy birthday month, Miss Bacon. When we have some other birthdays that we are allowed to talk about. Happy birthday to Brett, Zachary, and Greg. Now you knew Greg. He is with the men's chorus, and he used to
Those being gay
with
today.
the neighbor or the paper with us and the radio. He did a lot of work with us there. So I think you met him. Anyway, we'll talk off the air. Okay. Also, Christian Daniel, author Phyllis Gerstenfeld. I think I said that right. Author N.R. Walker. Also, we've got Kristen Alexandra. She was our actress. She played our sweet nun. And many other roles. We also have Beverly, Amanda, Steve. Oh, Steve, he was in our shows as well, and recently lost his husband. So love to him. Also, we got that Daniel, Tracy, David. So many chasers born this next week. What's up with that? What's going on there? Anyway, also Brian, power listener Brian, and we got Joe and we got Andrew. So happy birthday to all of you.
I had a listener today actually say, "Did I hear you right that you don't like 27 dresses?" And
What?
I'm like, and what do you think of just us, just The Last of Us? And I said, no, I love 27 dresses,
Say,
and I hate just the Last
The
of Us.
Last of Us.
Ugh.
Yep. Have you watched that final show yet?
No, we both sit there and go, there's nothing really on. So let's watch guy one of Guy's grocery games. Okay, yeah,
Now,
yeah,
see,
that's good.
don't you wish that HBO had that little function to speed it up just a bit? Wouldn't
No,
you find it a little easier to get through the end of that?
I'm just hoping that when it comes back around in probably 2 years, because they're having difficulties, coming up with 8 episodes. Fuck you, people. When that happens, I just won't watch the new season. So
That sounds smart.
because like Outer Banks, we kind of liked Outer Banks, but didn't. But it was beautiful because it's down in the Keys and the Caribbean and stuff. So, but we're having a little trouble getting through season 3. It's
Of which
like
one? The Keys?
Outer Banks on Netflix.
Yeah, that's not one that I have been watching. Um, okay, so we have nothing in our feedback.
No.
I know. We cry. And then chub hugs. Do you have some chub hugs that you would like to send out?
Chub hugs. Oh, already. Well, they just had an earthquake. Where was it? They just had a new earthquake.
Oh, yeah.
Not a lot of people were killed, but once again, it was in an area where a lot of houses just, come down. It's we forget that things that are made with stone and mortar, well, not even good mortar, mud comes down during these big old earthquakes. So, all the people who have had problems with the earthquakes, the war that's continuing, just it's and I just want spring to come so everyone can stop being cold, because they finally had the cold wave across the nation, and
Hmm.
and I think we all need a little warm up, not too warm, warm up.
Yeah. Well, uh, we're in such a time right now of the light and the good coming in, that the darkness and the sadness and everything that's been shaken loose is going fucking crazy. But yeah,
Well, and it's only so
it's
we're getting
almost.
getting through January and February because we always lose a lot of people
Mhm.
with the cold. The cold comes in like death
Yeah.
and takes a lot of people. It's weird.
Can you imagine with the earthquakes that what I worry about is places like in Brazil and the places in South America that they're basically on hillsides and their houses are all on top of each other and it's just thin little like practically plywood. Just worried. I
Well, yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, just think about um yeah, I mean, like and these people I also feel bad for the people up in the Tahoe region or up in our hills up here because they are so covered with snow. Then they got rain and that just iced everything up.
Hmm.
So you thought your roof was heavy before, and then it's yesterday and then tomorrow it's going to be snowing down to 2,000 feet again. So we're cold and it's snowing and these people are just devastated by it.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, imagine a wall of snow that's higher than your roof.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst part is if that caves in towards your house, it could cause some damage too.
Yep. Exactly. I
So yeah,
I
I just
saw
want to
stories
get
recently. I saw,
warmer.
yes. I saw stories recently about people that have had to go up, talking about going up and having to uh, shovel snow off their roofs because they didn't want them to collapse. So, all right. I have some chub hugs to send out to Shafina, who is over in Israel, and they had such a huge torrential rainstorm, apparently, or big rainstorm anyway, that their roof flooded, causing a tsunami of water to flood the stairwell. And so then the building people turned off the elevator and they had to go out and wouldn't do anything for the cleanup. So they had to go out themselves, the tenants, and clean up this huge amount of water. It was really crazy. So yeah, and the stairs are tile, so it makes them extra slippery. So I send her a lot of love. Okay, celebrity deaths that happened in the last week or so. Lance Reddick, the veteran actor known for his work on TV shows including The Wire, Fringe, Resident Evil, Bosch, and films like and Bosch and films like John Wick.
Now for people who don't know who he is the guy who took care of the puppy while John Wick was out killing people
Oh,
at
okay.
the hotel. So, he's a good guy. You know,
Yeah.
he took care of that puppy like it was his own.
Mhm.
And so yeah, that was really sad to hear about him. And
Yeah.
he was quite young.
He was only 60.
Yeah.
Bobby Caldwell, the soulful and versatile vocalist behind hits What You Won't Do for Love and
You
Open Your
won't
Eyes.
do for love.
Yeah,
Well, I tried everything, but I just can't.
don't want royalties now. Um, Died March 14th at age 71. Oh, that's sad. All right, so it is time for Tom's Week, and just a general reminder here. Um, there may be spoilers in everything that we talk about, so proceed with caution. Tom,
Okay. Still
wants to
watch
talk to you about.
uh, still watch The Last of Us
Hmm.
season finale. Eh. Okay. Let's see. Finish the season finale of Wolfpack on
Oh,
and there here is a spoiler. Buffy or Sarah Michelle Gellar is Mama Wolfpack. Okay.
uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, we found that out. Okay, so that was exciting. Poker Face, we finished season one, and it was the worst episode of the season because they tied it up. They tied up season one really quickly and then set up season two. So it was kind of like rushed where in her kind of when she's calculating what's going on, it takes her a bit, like Columbo did. Remember, Columbo was like, he still it was 90 minutes. Columbo couldn't do it in an hour. So uh,
Yeah.
this was just really quick for her. So that it was fine, but the rest of the season is fantastic. MILF Manor, they're finally what they did was they had 16 people, uh, you know, the eight boys and the eight moms, and
Hmm.
then they'd been dating. Well, they've been having little dates or whatever they want to call them back and forth because they're living in a resort. So they're all together, and so what they did was they took a survey of who do you have a crush on, and whoever had a crush on you, if they picked you and you picked them, then you got to stay. But if you didn't pick the right person, you had to go home. So out of 16, they have six people left, and
Wow.
I still haven't seen any bumping anything ugly here. So I want some sex on the show.
Okay. Clarify.
Uh, let's see, RuPaul's Drag Race. Um, they did a musical spectacular with about wigs, and it was funny because she made this way before this was done back in September, October. So this is well before they really started getting into the drag queens, and all the shit that they're pulling. Well, maybe it had started, but the whole show, the whole musical was based kind of like Footloose, where you had the evil person that didn't want anyone to dress in drag, even though they were in drag themselves the whole time.
Yeah.
So it was really good. They ended up sending home Selena Estides.
You knew it was gonna happen.
Well, she was I because as I was telling my other host, um, they all know what the each of the runways is going to be for the, let's call it, 10 episodes, 12
Yeah.
episodes that they're filming. So because you can't come in there and hope that some gown that you had that you wore when you were working the bars is going to work for the theme of um carrots of the wild,
Mhm.
so everything's got to be done in orange and like carrot stuff. It was something ridiculous. So you have to have that ahead of time. So they'll call it the fringe. This is the fringe runway, or this is the a clue step back into the 1800s, type thing. So they're prepared. Now if they do like a thrift store runway where you have to build your own gown, then that's a different thing. But usually they have all their own stuff. Well, Selena's was Miss Estides was just always a little bit on the cheap cheaper end of the, I mean, it didn't, some of them come out there and you go, that's a $500 gown, and then some come out and you go, well, you made that yourself, didn't you? you know
Uh-huh.
and that's how Selena always, I think she's a good queen. I don't think she has the style, and I think maybe she needs to be. It almost feels like she started out wanting to be like the how can I put this? Like the street girl kind of drag queen,
Hmm.
she's streetwise drag queen, and but that just doesn't cut it on the runway. But it
Right.
all,
And that's the way that she talked too.
yeah.
I only saw like 3 episodes, I think. But yeah, the way that she talked too, I was like, oh my God, I could not imagine having to like be around you long term doing that.
Oh yeah, you could tell she was a bit of a pain in the ass to be around.
What that voice? I was just like, ugh. Anyway.
Mass Singer this week, they brought in two new people. The squirrel had been on last week, so now they kept the squirrel. They got rid of the squirrel. which I was surprised, and that ended up being the bitch that cut up my mother's dress from 27 Dresses.
Ha! Okay.
And I hate her. I
Yeah.
hate her. How could she do such a thing to Katherine Heigl? I don't know. Um, and now it's so funny because Sean will go, "Who is that?" And I go, "That's the bitch that cut up my mother's dress." He goes, "Oh, that's right. That's who she is." She no longer has a real name. Um, and the second person they got rid of was some influencer from, I don't think it was YouTube, but what else is there? Yeah, I don't know. She was somebody who was famous through streaming. Let's just say that.
Okay.
Um, and even Sean didn't know who she was, so I didn't feel too bad. On Survivor, they got rid of Claire, and it was funny because during the competition, uh, they had 6 people in their group, and so Jeff goes, "Well, you're gonna have to sit 2 people out," and they go, "Oh, it's going to be so and so and Claire," and he goes, "Claire, you haven't participated in any competition yet. Do you think that's going to be a problem later on for you?" And she goes, "Well, the way I look at it is I'm not going to be any help in the competition. So everyone's going to be better than me. So I think sitting out is the smart thing to do." And as they're walking home, and all the people are covered in sand and mud and sweat, and they're all filthy, and they all are just miserable because they just lost. There's Claire looking fresh as the day. It's just, and so, yeah, she went home. Bye bye.
Mm.
Let's
So
see. So,
they put what was it? They used to call it Sanders Bench.
oh, I
Uh,
didn't know.
you're talking Survivor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sandra, she
Oh,
used to sit
Sandra.
out everything, and so that they
Right.
started calling it Sandra's Bench when somebody would sit out like pretty much everything.
On News, League of Our Own over on Prime, which I love
Mm.
and everyone should go see,
Mm.
is going to be back for a short and limited second and final season.
Oh,
So at least we're going to get to see a little more. So I'm
good.
happy for that. And
Yeah.
then Willow, Disney Plus was canceled.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that.
I was too, even though it wasn't the best. I
But
thought maybe they could take the comments they heard from season one,
mm,
and then kind of retool it, still playing into the same. I mean, they're still going to have the same, you know, storyline, but
yeah,
they could fix it up a little bit, but they decided not to.
yeah,
Uh,
I just think that they had half a show there, and then the other half of the show needed to be completely retooled.
yeah, and I do want to say that I do hope the guy who plays Willow, that this will help, boost his career.
Yeah, Warwick Davis,
Yes.
although I don't know if he's so popular and is all
I
and
know,
I
but
mean, my
but
God, the resume that man has.
yeah, but his is mostly unrecognizable under heavy makeup.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I mean,
And I
him
think,
and every
and this was always nice because this was just him. It's kind of like you go, "Oh, you know who's got a great career is the guy who did Gollum." I guess it's nice because he's rich, but he doesn't get recognized on the street. I mean, is that why it was good? So I don't know.
Okay.
Moving on, Outlast, which is brand new on Netflix, which is about, well, for those of you that watched Alone over on, I think it was the History Channel, it's basically they've in Alaska they've dropped 16 people. They have to group into 4 teams, and then they have to survive against each other, and so the teams, it's the difference here is, on Alone they never knew where the other people were. They might see a boat going by their camp out in the lake taking somebody back home because they quit, but mostly it was, they were alone. And so, and this one, they're nasty, they're devious, they're like trying to figure out how to make the other team lose. It's like why don't you guys try to survive and not worry about the other team winning or losing? Because I mean, they're spending way too much time hating the other team for no reason.
And what is this called?
It's called
Outlast?
Outlast. And it was funny because um, there was like two guys that both dropped out at the same time because they had a 4-day rain stint, and it's in the 30s during the day, so they can barely build a fire because everything's wet. Some of them couldn't build a fire at the beginning. And it's wet, it's cold. They can't get their clothes dry now because they've been wet. And then, and the sun finally comes out and they're leaving. We're leaving. And the guy who's on the same team, because it's two people at the same team, and he's like going, "Oh, great, great. Yeah, they made this quitting too easy. People only quit because quitting is easy." And it's like, okay, you guys are you horrible people, horrible people.
Huh.
um Ted Lasso just started up on um Apple TV this week, season 3. It's their final season, so that's fun. Also, a new show that's on there, it's Jason
Statham?
Jason. No, no, no. It's Jason from Sarah Marshall. He was on How I Met Your Mother, or yeah, Mother. He was leading that. Remember, he was naked in Sarah Marshall at the very beginning of the show. Okay,
All right,
well,
I'll
anyway,
watch it now, but no, remember.
he's got a real big wiener too. Um,
Oh,
Anyway, it's a show with Harrison Ford on Apple TV called Shrinking, where they both play psychiatrists. I think they're father and son, or maybe father and son-in-law. I'm not sure, but Harrison Ford thinks Jason's an idiot. So
okay. I know. I remember the ad for that show.
yeah. And then I don't know if uh, I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once,
Oh yes.
and you know, I think I should have seen it in the theater because I was distracted, girl. Distracted.
Hmm.
It's weird. Everything that I mean, first of all, it's very entailed of what's going on. And lots of fighting and silly some good silliness, but it was very confusing for me, and it wasn't just because I was drinking. It was St. Patrick's Day, so I did have a and wait, maybe it wasn't St. Patrick's Day. It was sometime last week, and I drank. So
Well,
anyway,
as you do.
uh, but it was, yeah. I it's available right now on Showtime for free. I'll let you borrow my disc as soon as I get my car back,
Huh.
because I'm without a car right now. So and that'll give you a chance to see it. I think that in the theater, with no distractions, except the popcorn in front of you,
Hmm.
um, the distractions are what did me in on this. So um, let's see. And I did want to mention Animal Control on Fox with Joel McHale. If you have not seen that, it's really worth. It's a very funny show. And what I love is they always get some animal in each week that's like raccoon in the ceiling, or a snake, or it's something horrible. Something horrible that they've got to take from people's houses, that they're like, oh my God, they're running, hide in the car. It's too, it's quite funny. So I would definitely see that, or want to see that. And Shigemu's Dune starts in April, and last year it was all based on the little town of Shigemadune was all based on 50s and 60s musicals. Now we're going into late 60s, early 70s, 80s musicals, where they're dark and they don't end well. So
Uh-oh.
so that's what this is going to be based on. And I'll tell you, it's keeping Apple TV on my streaming service until Shigamadune is done. and Ted Lasso's gone, I'm out of there because Apple TV is not my favorite.
Yeah, you're not the only one who's been saying that. I'm surprised it's still doing what it's doing.
I am too.
Um, so okay,
Yeah,
well,
I'm predicting Showtime, Paramount, and Apple TV will be one streaming service within a year.
I would totally be down with that.
Even though I don't watch much on any of the three of them, it'll be worth getting for the three of them.
I watch more on Paramount
Well,
and
it's because it's all Star Trek. They've got the best of all Star Trek. So
but also Peacock.
yeah,
There
Peacock
are
is
actual movies, and it stills me when I see like, oh, Puss in Boots is on, or whatever. There's like some major movie. It's on Peacock. What?
yeah, exactly. Peacock has been great for the movies because they're bringing in all the Universal and what's the second the Universal has another company that they work with, like
Probably
not
not Warner. I don't
I know
know.
it's DreamWorks, but it's something else. It's a secondary company that they get a lot of. But like for instance, you're right. Puss in Boots started last week. Now are you the limited commercial? Is that
I
what you're getting?
think I, on Peacock,
Yeah,
I think I'm getting it for free or
right.
I don't
Uh,
know.
well, no, if you're getting it through Xfinity. But see, you used to.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I for some reason I still have access to like watch stuff on it, but not through. Yeah, I don't get the cable privileges. So
Okay, well, anyway, so with that, Puss in Boots, coming up next will be Knock at the Cabin, which is M. Night Shyamalan's new show about the gay couple with their daughter that go to a cabin and there's a sudden knock on the door.
I don't know if I like that.
But it's a horror film. It's M. Night Shyamalan. So, but it's with oh God, I always forget his name. He was the bad guy in Glee who threw eggs at Rachel, and he was from Spring Awakening. He was in that San Francisco show where the gay show.
Oh,
Jeffrey Jeffrey
it will come to me. Jonathan Goff.
Jonathan
Jonathan
Goff.
Groff.
Groff. Okay, yeah. So it's him and there's other famous. It's a good cast.
Huh.
Anyway, so that's coming up. The Fableman should be short coming up after that. The Spielberg nominated Best Picture
Hmm.
should be coming on, but they're all coming. And when you watch a movie on Peacock, they don't show commercials during it. They show it
Okay.
during. They show it during the like when I was watching Night Stalker, I'd get like 3 or 4 minute commercials during it, but um uh, movies, none. There's a preview. I mean, there's like commercials at the beginning, and that's it before it starts.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that sounds cool. And I want to watch some of those. Yeah. Um, and then I added, was it
Oh,
okay? So I added Outlast. Go ahead. Do you have something else?
no, go ahead.
Um, so I have two questions for you. Are you going to see, are you interested in seeing Renfield? Don't know anything about it. Go watch the preview of Renfield.
Well, I know what it's going to be about, but I
Well,
don't.
yeah, but no, this looks fun.
Okay. Okay, I'll probably say yes then.
Okay. And then are you gonna watch Dance 100? I know that kind of like, but I did add it to my queue to
Oh
like
yeah,
watch the
I'm
first
sure.
episode.
Yeah, well, I've actually. What did I start looking at as well? There was something weird like that. Oh, the next in
Oh
fashion.
yeah, you were talking about that. I
Good.
think I'm curious about that one too.
It was good, and I finished it, and I was actually happy with how it turned out. And it was just more. I'm sorry, Project Runway's just got too snooty and stuffy.
I
And
agree, and ever since Tim and Andrea or Susan or whatever her name is,
Heidi,
Heidi, I knew it was one of those white names. Um, But ever since they left, it lost something. I don't care.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I've even though I like Kristen in it,
Yeah,
in the new one, the whole thing it's just lost it's
it's
where
just there to make money now.
Top Chef is as good as it ever was.
Oh hell yeah. Hmm.
But Runway is just, especially when they're like the one with Tim and Heidi now, the new one that they have on Prime. It's just it's fast and it's not, I don't know who anybody is, and nor do I
Uh-huh.
care. So I don't have any. I'm not wishing or hoping for anyone to win. I'm
Right.
just waiting for it to get over with.
I mean, to me, those two were the soul of Project Runway. I mean, without them, it is just a moneymaker, churning
Yeah.
out how much money can we get out of this before we have to shut it down. And the problem with the other show is that I don't agree with half the shit they say. They're like, oh my God, this is so innovative. I'm like, he sewed a bunch of belts onto a white piece of fabric. I could do that, you know, and yet he's innovative and you give him $100,000. I'm like, ah,
Yeah.
why? Anyway, just saying.
So
Okay.
how about our mutual shows?
Okay, mutual shows. Starting out with Night Court, episode 10, where we finally meet her boyfriend. And I was very unimpressed.
Okay.
Very, very
I
unimpressed.
haven't watched that episode yet, but
Okay. Not to say that the actor didn't do a good job and everything, but I just felt like, really? That's going to be her boyfriend? Wow. The next thing you know, they're going to break out into a big hoot nanny. Um, what's that one musical where it's basically a big hoot nanny? Old time. Oh God, I
Oklahoma,
know you can't read my. No, 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 but close.
Brigadoon.
No, but close.
No, they had the clam bake, so I thought maybe that's what you were thinking.
No, it ends up with a great big party, and they're all wearing the hee haw, and they're ha ha ha, and everybody's so happy, and it's a very
Hairspray.
simple play. Anyway, not won't take up much time on it, but I'm just saying that it's like you just you're like, wow, she's a judge, and even though she's kind of Pollyanna, that's who she fell for, huh?
Okay. Now I want to watch.
All right. So the Bachelor episode 8 and episode The Women Tell All. So of course on episode 8, as we know now, he chose all white women. I mean, he sent Charity home at the last minute.
For no
Uh,
good reason, by the way. No good reason.
yeah. And really, as you pointed out, as they pointed out, as Charity pointed out, he says, I don't I can't love you the way you need to be loved or something. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And except for the fact that she really is too good for him. And I'm not saying he's a bad person, but she's class and he's
Yeah, I agree.
class.
I agree.
But I think it really boiled down to that he just, especially after meeting her family, just went, whoa, I don't know if I being a big, well-to-do family white guy can fit into that. I think it was a race thing. And I don't mean in a bad way.
I
I
under
just mean
I
in
know
a,
what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
him saying, you know what, so anyway, so
And
now he has,
that's after the first girl and her creepy brother.
oh, I
That's the one
fucking hated that douche.
that's the one I would have gotten rid of simply over the family, because I'm not going to deal with that. Oh,
Yeah,
you don't even, because you know that he's not going to pick her, and so they're going to be like, oh yeah, well I knew when he didn't know her birthday.
yeah. Well, it's gonna be more like, oh, I knew he didn't want to put up with you for the next 80
Oh
years.
God, I wouldn't, because
Nope.
every holiday is going to be he's going to be glaring at him. Not to mention, he doesn't seem like he's a very nice person to begin with.
No, and that's the thing. He went into it wanting to be an asshole. And it's
Yeah.
like I'm not going to marry Brian's brother. Uh to sit there and spend 80 years having Brian across the table from me.
Well, it's okay because Brian doesn't talk to him very much, and his brother's cute.
I know it's true, yes. Anyway, so I just yeah, I would have gotten rid of him just because of him. But anyway, so now he's in his little comfort zone. And I don't think he's a bad guy or anything, but did you notice that especially with the women tell all, that is the most politically correct uh quote unquote maybe woke. They had a black therapist who had to have talks with some of the girls about, why blackface is bad. I mean, seriously, there was some of the stuff I was like, wow, these must be some really white women because they had to actually have a therapist talk to them. So anyway, but also I think that I was really happy that Charity didn't end up with him because I think she's going to make an amazing bachelor. And I checked out some of the past bachelors because bachelorettes, I mean, because
What? She's the new Bachelorette?
yeah, surprise, spoiler, Charity is the new bachelorette. And I checked back because this is the season before that was the first one that I watched. So there have been black uh
Yeah.
bachelorettes before. So I was like, oh God, please don't say that she's going to be the first one and that's why they're doing all this stuff. But I think she's going to be great. I think anyone that ends up with her and is worthy of her will be very lucky.
Yeah,
So,
I think she's great and to the point of where I say go right on to the Bachelorette because I don't care what happens now with the Bachelor.
yeah, those three girls, I mean, once they got rid of Kat, who I thought was pretty much like a great match for him.
She was a lot, even Jesse thought she was the lock-in.
Well, and that's the thing is that I think that he is he ends up wanting some giggly girl instead of a woman that can really go toe to toe with him.
Yeah,
And I
well,
think that's another issue.
I guarantee you what's going to happen is whoever he picks, it's not going to work out. And then he's going to end up dating some of the other, go back and dating some of the other girls.
Well, if he doesn't end up back on the beach,
Ugh.
can you imagine? And Jesse already said to some of the girls, well, we've got Bachelor in Paradise coming
Got
up or
second
whatever it is.
chances on the beach.
Yep.
Yeah, no thanks.
But some of those girls were still like super bitchy to each other.
Oh, they were horrible. Horrible.
Yep. I was like, I would have been glad to escape you.
Well,
All
see,
right.
yeah, that's the nice thing about the Bachelor, about the Bachelor's girls tell all, because the women are much more interesting than men bitching. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean, the
So
men want to throw down and they're weak and they're whatever. Whatever they are. But the women
it's all like
posturing.
puffering the chest out,
Yeah.
and seeing who could pee the furthest. Um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was funny. Tiffany Haddish on just made me think of that. She was talking about big dicks,
Uh-huh.
and she goes, "Well, personally, I would much rather have a medium dick,
I like that.
small to medium,"
Yeah.
because she goes, after you get fucked by a big dick, you're healing afterwards.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to heal after I've been fucked. I want to be in, like, oh, not oh. So
Yeah.
that I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah.
I shared that because, we were making something point there. Okay.
Well,
So
it's funny because on the other show that I do, there's a lot of people that say the same thing. They're just like, well,
oh yeah.
big is too big. Anyway, also, I don't know how if you watched or how far you got, but Top Chef World All Stars.
Oh yeah, I'm up to date.
Okay, and then we also have Last Chance Kitchen. Do you watch that as well?
I usually gather a few of them before I go in and watch.
Yeah, same. But anyway, Top Chef, I was very happy to see that it was back. I've missed it and actually been thinking about wanting to watch it. And I was going to go back and watch some old ones if I needed to. Um, so we have World All Stars, which brings together some winners and some finalists.
Yeah.
About 20 of them, 18,
No, start. I think it was 16.
16. Okay. And yeah, take them to London, have them do their thing, see what comes out. The first one, the first, now, okay, spoiler alerts. So give you a second to hit that pause button
Okay.
if you need to.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first guy that went home was the French chef, and he went home because he did not devein the shrimp.
I
And
couldn't believe that. I could not believe that.
that he didn't devein them,
Yeah, I mean,
take the poop sack out.
I'll tell you, I guarantee you why he didn't devein them.
Hmm. French.
Because he's a chef and he has people that do that for him. So he probably assumed they were already done when he grabbed them.
That
Honestly,
that's interesting. Okay, I will accept that. But yeah, I think this just goes to show how high a standard that they are really going for this time.
yeah.
I mean, these are winners, these are finalists, these are amazing chefs. I think some of them have Michelins, so they need to be top of their game. I felt okay, and then the second one, Dawn went home over rice.
Oh no, now do you remember her from her season?
I do, and it seemed like it was the same thing. She just kept running out of time or fucking up or something always happened to her.
And it didn't come through until the very end. Remember, they were down in Texas.
Yeah,
And I remember
that's
I,
right.
I kept thinking, oh, get rid of her. And it's like, oh, well, they're not going to get rid of, they're not going to get rid of her now because it was a black thing, remember?
Yeah, yeah, they were
And
highlighting
that's when they should have gotten rid of her right
Juneteenth
there.
when
They
they
should
were
have gotten
doing
rid of her,
it.
but they weren't going to do that because I think she was the only black person left. And it was a black charity that they were doing the thing for. Would not have looked good. And I get that.
No,
But at least she didn't win. She ultimately did not win.
right.
She was a
And I
finalist.
feel bad for her because she I think she really is a great chef, and
Why
she
did you?
just ended up with having shit happen all the time. It was weird.
Well, over on
In that one, somebody ended up spilling water in her
right,
dish.
yeah.
Like,
Well, I told you
shit.
on TOC, which is also on Food Channel,
Mhm.
or which is on Food Channel, and it's very similar to this, where they gather up all these different chefs. It's really interesting, and the one thing that I have found is the people who win
Mhm.
these competitions are people who are good at competitions.
Yes, that
Okay,
is true.
because they know it's like Alex Orchelli. She goes, you know, you can go up against me, and you might beat me, but the thing is, I know I'm so good at this right now. I'm so good at the competition stuff that it's hard to beat me. That's why Beat Bobby Flay came around. He's doing this every week, so
Mhm.
he knows how to please a judging audience.
Right. And they know how to keep track of their time and how to, do
Yes, right.
things
They,
that they
they
need to
the time
do.
they know that they cannot do risotto if they've only got 25 minutes.
Right.
They know that.
And
Where
that's I'm on.
people,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah, we're exactly risotto especially. Have you been watching the Spring Baking Championship?
yes.
Okay, so I will add that over here.
I was glad to see the guy leave the first week because he was weak.
Yeah,
He was good talk, but he was weak. And I mean, I saw it, and I think everybody else could see it. And it's nothing about him being young. It's
right.
just it's just, I mean, some people get on there. Well, I mean, people get on there for a lot of different reasons, get on these shows. First of all, casting diversity gets
Mhm.
people on shows. But ultimately, it comes down to who is best at being complete. Well, it's like RuPaul's Drag Race. You got to bake. You've got to you're it's not just a baking show. Now you're making candy. Now you're doing, they call it spring breaking, but now you're modeling chicks out for a chicken contest, so that you have to put chicks
Right.
out of modeling clay. And I don't know how to model, and so But that's what happens. These people, they get into situations where they're not used to it. And it's because they had the guy who started the French Laundry in Napa, which
Hmm,
when he was running it, it was considered the best restaurant in the world. But he
right.
came on and lost first week on Tournament of Champions because he was up against somebody that is a professional cook,
Yeah.
professional competition cook. And that'll do you in every time. Doesn't matter how much training you have. If you can't get it done in 35 minutes and everything's on the plate and you got all the items that you had to do, that's the other thing. You're cooking with shit you don't want to cook with. And so, but Top Chef, I'll tell you, I am so in love with those Middle Eastern guys right now. I can't
Oh
even.
my God. I was gonna say there are some really cute guys on.
And I love the guy from Canada with the mustache.
Yes, Dale.
And um I did like the French guy until he left, and I like the German guy.
Yeah, he's got a good sense of humor. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
But
thinking
I'll
that.
tell you the guy that is from the Middle East, and I mean that's just what they call what they label him because he's from specializes in several different places down there. Uh,
Right.
he is a very beautiful man as well.
Yeah, he's
I
the one
love
that did
the Go
he
ahead.
did the onions the first time that everyone
Yeah.
was raving
Oh
about.
yeah.
And it's funny because it reminded me because when we were kids, my mom would roast onions and
Hmm.
you eat them just onions because when you roast them, it takes that kind of stark
Yeah.
oniony.
At least the sweet
It makes it sweet and they're really nice to eat. And I forgot all about that. So I'm looking forward to making, roasting an onion and eating that.
sounds
And
good.
and there's no calories.
Yeah, that's true. And then what was it? What was I gonna say? Dog. Oh, one of the things like with the spring baking championship is a lot of these cooks get on there and they've never had to cook for a short time before. Here's your
Well,
time limit. Whatever
yeah,
you put on that plate is what you get judged for, and a lot of
you
them have not had to do that.
you're making a wedding cake and you have 4 hours to do it.
Right? It's like what?
When
Yeah.
you have a concept. What are you kidding? What?
Right. And
And
that's
they
the
go,
thing. It would take
oh,
me 3 hours just to come up with what I wanted to do.
and they go, don't worry, we've got a concept for you. It's going to be a basket cake.
Yeah.
4 hours,
How do I
a
make a
wedding
basket?
basket cake? You got to be kidding me.
Oh,
So,
but I am glad to see Jesse back as the host too.
oh yeah, now we can see him without lying to those girls.
Right. Okay, so anyway, Top Chef is
Thursday nights on Bravo.
on Bravo. Okay. I ended up watching it on
Peacock?
I don't remember something else. I don't remember.
Well, we'll just call it Peacock.
Oh, yes, you were right. Actually, yeah, it is Peacock. Thank you. Um, all right. So we did Spring Banking Championship. Okay, so my week, I watched Survivor 40, and this was Winners at War. And this is the one where they bring back however many, I think it was 20 um, former winners. Like they had to have won their season, and they brought them back. So I was fine with actually I was really into it until they got to the end and then it was very clear to me that Natalie was the one who should be the winner. She basically uh she survived. She was the first one voted out. She survived the Edge Island whatever the entire time. She was the most active player in the game. She did the most twists and turns. She was the one that picked up almost all the things that they put on the island before any of the others. And she came out like with the most tokens and used the best strategy. But they completely put her over for the mostly okay what did I write the mostly straight white male survivors, old boy survivors, gave the win to the straight white old boy cop who was so paranoid he had an anxiety attack every episode. And he basically climbed a tree and eavesdropped while Natalie did all that other stuff. So I was like, nope, the old boy network gave it to the guy, the white guy, instead of the one who really did all the work. So I was very disappointed in the end. All right. How I Met Your Father season two, episode 7. This was Facing Fears, where basically everyone had some fear of something. A couple of them were driving, a couple of them were hula hoops, telling their, you know, workmate to fuck off, that type of thing. But the worst of it was the English guy had never shaved himself before. So it was his thing that he had to learn how to shave himself. And there was at one point where he cut his leg, and there was like this profuse, disgusting amount of blood just like pouring down his, oh god, it was so nasty. Um, but if they didn't do it, they had to punish themselves somehow, and they, well, anyway, I'll leave the rest to anybody that wants to actually watch this show. um, Lopez versus Lopez, which is on Peacock. This one was about the fakeness of social media. They had some family members come over who were like super famous, had 50,000 followers, had like had sponsors and all this other stuff, and were living the high life and partying all the time, and made them feel like, you know, since they missed out on their most of their 20s because they had a kid, they wanted to emulate it, only to find out that they were living in a van and they were starving and they were stealing food and they were deep in debt, etc., etc., etc. So anyway, and I'll leave the rest to it. I'm really enjoying Lopez versus Lopez. It's kind of a, you know, call me cat type thing where it started out kind of rough, but then once they finally got the what the characters were supposed to do, they just room. It's fun. And finally, I found out that Hulu was not showing me that the new episodes of Call Me Cat were available. So I watched 4 episodes this week, and I've got there's one more to go before the season 3 ends, and the show is getting better all the time, but every once in a while they still have a little wobbly episode. Thankfully, the Amish character has not been on. However, this episode, you can see that the next one is the closing episode, because this one was the setup where you just know they're going to do this whole thing where they have a major blowout and break them up after having half a season of, well, a full season of kind of being together and having a good relationship and moving in and making it work. And you just know they're going to try to implode it as a cliffhanger for season 4. And I think if they do that, it's going to be fucked up. It's going to fuck it up. It's like, just let them be happy and focus on other shit right now. Bring in a new element, do something like that. But just, I hate it when they implode relationships at the end of a season for ratings, or they announce that they're pregnant.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's no, it's worse if they're pregnant
Yeah.
and they break up.
Because yeah, exactly. But that's one of the things, is the first part of the season they started doing the whole baby shit, and I was like, oh god, please don't do that. And finally, like within 3 episodes, they dropped it. So,
Well, and then they killed off a character.
well, in an
I'm just joking.
actually, they didn't kill off the character. He got married to his boyfriend and live on an vacation island, and they have their own bakery there. And they get postcards from him, like during other episodes.
Well, that's good because then he lives on forever and Call Me Cat.
Yes, he does. All right. Um. So I took the advice from, not from Dear Prudence, but instead something called Dear Amy. I don't know where it was from. I just found it randomly on the internet, like porn. Anyway, Dear Amy, I'm part of a group of women friends who met in college 50 years ago. We got back in touch 20 years ago. So that's got to mean that they're like 70s? Okay.
Probably,
Anyway,
yeah.
and now we meet a few times a year. At first, conversation was varied with personal updates, talk about current events, books, etc. Very quickly, this changed into conversation that is nearly 100% about children. I'm independent with no children. I'm happy with my life, especially with my fulfilling career. The other women even poo pooed what I do. I tried to add different topics to the conversation. The responses were simply blank stares. They are all nice women, but these get-togethers with hours of conversation limited to children, children's spouses, in-laws, relocations, etc., are unsatisfying and somewhat hurtful. I appreciate your ideas as to how to decline these invitations while maintaining the relationships. Really, that's the issue?
Yeah, I don't get it.
You're 70. Ah, I woke up this morning and my hip's not working. I can't make it today. What? No, I when she started, okay, when I first read this and it was going on about the children, I was like, oh, it's a bunch of young mothers in their 30s and shit. Yeah, but
Wait, children? Yeah, they're talking about their 50-year-olds.
yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, these are like, oh, I have a problem with Harold and his in-laws, and they just had three more children, and I can't remember their names, and they don't visit, or I don't know. I was just like, wait a minute. So yeah, if
Well,
that's your problem, I would just say, sorry, I can't make it. I have water on the, I don't know. Uh,
yeah,
just yeah, I have better things to do than hang around you bitches. But anyway,
yeah,
here's what.
no, it's yeah, because once you put it into that sense that they're in their 70s, and it's kind of like, girl, you should just be glad you woke up.
Yeah, exactly. I just, mm, yeah. Okay, so Amy answers, I'm sorry, I can't make this visit, but keep me in mind for next time. It's a polite way to respond to an invitation you don't want to accept. 70 years, she didn't learn that.
Well, I
You
don't think, but the point is, she doesn't want to not go. She just wants them to be more like her.
Well, she wants them to at least say, oh, that's interesting. I mean, at 70, apparently she's still got a career. So,
Yeah,
hey,
and we don't know what that career is, so it could be something stupid. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I know that. I mean, people are going to say the same thing about you and I. Oh, they're old. Why are we listening to this? It's like, well,
hey, you know what? That's crossed my mind before. Somebody's all like, "Oh, they're kind of older now. Maybe we shouldn't listen." But yeah. Anyway,
fortunately, our listeners are around our a lot
yeah.
of our listeners
Oh
around
no,
our age.
our listeners are very very young. Yes, yes, they are.
Well, they may be around our age, but they all look like they're in their 20s. It's
I
amazing.
know. Um. What else she say? She says you should review whether you want to maintain these relationships outside of these visits. I agree. People grow apart. Life events, a term of health in terms of health, careers, partners, children, and various triumphs and losses affect everyone's perspective. Well, apparently they don't. Well, that's the thing too, is like if they're in their 70s, they're probably retired and have nothing else to do but focus on their grown-up children's lives because they're not creating their own lives.
Well, it's because that's all their kids call them about.
Yeah.
And
So
so that's all they really know is just what their kids are doing, because
right.
that's what the grandkids with kids. Of course, when your kids are 50, that means your grandkids are in their 30s and your great grandkids are probably in their uh under 10.
Right.
These women sound like they just have way too much to do,
Hmm.
with their fulfilling lives.
Well, Yeah, we'll go
Oh,
with that.
oh,
Okay.
high school friends too. Oh,
Um, let's see. Okay. Hey Chubs, what does your ideal weekend look like?
nothing to do.
Hmm.
I mean, sure. I mean, no. I mean,
This is ideal. This is like, what would you love to happen in the weekend?
um, I'm kind of retired. So well, I am retired, so I don't know what weekends are anymore. But like yesterday, I went to my nephew's birthday party.
Oh, that's
You know,
sweet.
so that was kind of fun to get out and about, and it was 2 or 3 hours, and I'm back home. That's
Yeah.
fine. Um, but what I mean, I'll tell you what I like on a weeknight is when it's warm enough outside that I've got the windows and the doors are open, the whole house fan is on, and the sun starts going down, it starts to cool off, and it starts cooling down the house, which got a little warm during the day.
Mhm.
Um, and it's have a nice dinner. I weekends are I don't do them for vacations like some people do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for me, the ideal weekend would be probably a day trip with friends.
With friends, with a friend.
Well, yes, but I don't mind friends depending on where we're going. I mean, we've done some SF trips before that were kind of fun, even
And how
though
long ago was that?
uh years ago.
Sean and I haven't been to San Francisco in over a decade.
Yeah, well, it was definitely. I was just remembering the time that we went down with Brian and Larry, and Brian got so damn drunk and pissed in the alley and was so argumentative. Remember when he was like so mad?
Was
Like
I there?
nobody knew what the fuck he was mad about. What?
Oh my God,
Remember
yes.
that? That was so funny. He was so
It
irate.
sense. And all we kept doing was making jokes, and we did not realize that he was out of his mind
I
with
know.
anger.
I was like, did somebody spike his drink or something? I don't remember what the fuck it was, but I mean, he was
Everyone
nuts.
tried to steal his boyfriend.
Oh, that's right.
There was no boyfriend.
No, the guy was looking at like other people going, help.
and
Anyway,
and and Brian just took like complete this is my boyfriend.
yeah,
It's like you don't even know who this guy is. What are you talking about?
yeah, yeah. That was funny. But see, trips like
Wow,
that.
I forgot about
I
that.
mean, not with that, but I mean, trips like that are just you know having a day trip. I think this is fun on a weekend. So
Yeah, see, try it on the weekday. It's even more fun.
please pardon the studio dog. A delivery is in progress, and she must make sure that everybody in the tri-state area knows.
Don't say tri-state.
Well, I don't know. That just comes to mind, but
I know they can't hear farther than Utah.
true. Okay. Hey, Chubs, what do you think your co-host's superpower is? Well, I think Tom's superpower is, um, hmm, interesting. Oh, no. Um, being on trend. If we're not going like superpower like Superman, I would say that your superpower is being up to date with pop culture and media and stuff like that, which people think that at your age that you probably are, listening to Barry Manilow all day and remembering the old times. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, the bitch knows who Billie Eilish is, and even I don't have a clue.
Well, I think yours is you have I'm going to call it um what do you call those pans, nonstick pans? They have what Teflon. You're
Teflon.
Teflon man.
I'm Teflon man.
Yeah, because no matter what they throw at you, it slides right off. You're not going to let it fucking kill you. You're going to,
Oh,
you know, sure, go ahead and marry him. It's not going to destroy me. Go ahead and, yeah,
just leave me out of the wedding, bitch.
I've seen, but I've seen you like, in situations where I'm like, how is Matt not insane about this right now? And it's like, you're like, I don't fucking care about these people right now. And and you might care, but the Teflon slides it off, and then, and of course with most of us anymore, there's like a 12-hour cool off period and everything's fine now.
Hmm.
It's so weird because Sean and I will get in an argument about something stupid, and then I'm still angry and he can't remember what we got in an argument about. But then I've learned to wait for it, wait for it. Okay, it's gone. It's out of the room. Okay.
Yeah.
It's weird, but you've always had that talent.
Oh, thank you. That's a nice talent. All right. It's time for what's in your lunchbox, and Mr. Moose wrote in and sent some wonderful yummy things, including he ordered a lemon chicken today. Want
Oh, I love lemon
I
chicken.
know. I'm looking at I've never had well, I have had lemon chicken, but not like this, but
How
this is
crunchy.
beautiful. Anyway, didn't want a bunch of vegetables, just craving meat. This was super crunchy and the sauce a perfect balance of sweet and sour. It looks amazing.
There was a place up in Pollock Pines that made lemon chicken that looked like this, and
Mm.
it was uh every time I was in Pollock Pines, I had to eat there, and we had a cabin up there, so it was regular, and it was everybody, but everybody's like, oh, let's go get Chinese.
Mm.
There's a Chinese place, and there was a bakery, and that's the bakery that made the big apple fritters I was telling you about.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh God, now I'm that looks good.
Uh, what else looks good is tried new recipes tonight for oven fried chicken. That sounds good. And since I was heating up the chicken by running the oven, also cooked some zucchini fries.
Yum, yum.
Both tasted good. Need to fine tune the recipe, but we'll keep working on it. It looks. I'll try it, girl. Oh, here we go. Rotisserie chicken, vegetables, creamy chicken gravy, and puff pastry. So yummy. And then
This is
finally,
like
oh wait,
it's
go
like a
ahead.
chicken pot pie,
Yeah, that crust is
deconstructed.
amazing.
Yeah.
Um, one moment. Okay. All right. What we got? Oop, what we got next? Snacks during cocktail hour. Pepperoni, prosciutto, brie, pepper jack, Kalamata olives, strawberries, not pictured crackers. Wow.
Um,
I would love somebody to give me a nice charcuterie like that.
see, I'm not a big charcuterie fan. I'm really not because I don't like cheese.
Well, oh, well, yeah, but you can have one that doesn't have cheese.
I know, but the
I
cheese
did
usually
see
is,
it.
like the major
Yeah.
part of it, and then you throw in a few meats and some seasonal fruit and call it a day. And I'm like,
What
uh,
about a cake charcuterie? Would you like the cake?
where's the fried chicken charcuterie?
Oh, yeah. Oh, strips. Chicken strip
Strips,
charcuterie,
a few
girl.
sliced up double downs,
Yes.
maybe some Cajun fries from Popeyes. I'm having a good time.
Me too. And I'm
Yeah.
just thinking about it. More Thai curry chicken curry. This is a green curry, lots of coconut milk, but still hotter than 40 hells. Wow. This was take your clothes off and sit on the snow hot. Oh,
Wait, are there
I
pictures?
just momentarily got hot thinking about him doing that. And still not cool off.
It kind of reminds me of the inside of the pot pie. If there was
Yeah.
just but yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more curries come springtime when it's
That's
we get some more seasonal vegetables.
that sounds really good. Not oh, lots of anise in this along with basil. Really good, but will regret eating it tomorrow. Well, don't we
That's when he
all?
needs to sit in the snow.
Yeah. Um, oh gosh, something had my mind. I'm trying to get back to some crock pot cooking because I'm become very lazy with my cooking lately. Although, I have to pick up some peanut oil because I wanted to use my wok. I got a whole bunch of stuff for stir fry, and want to use my wok, but I want to use peanut oil, so I have to get that, to season first and everything. So, David, I will be very using that very soon. So thank you again for that. And the set is beautiful. It comes with all sorts of utensils and things. It's just a beautiful set.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm
but
I was ready to pull out my wok if I was, like stir frying, but it's up
mm,
there. I know where it is. I found it. So
good. And then I've been trying to get back to crock pot pudding cooking. And last night I had some leftover stir fry chicken um, and teriyaki, and I put that in the crock pot with three red potatoes sliced up and some minced chicken, all crushed up chicken, and some beef, a packet of beef, cheap beef flavoring. Put all that in there, mixed everything, and then to top it off, I wasn't thinking because I always put like butter on stuff like that. So I took a cube of butter and just popped it on top, put it in there. Wasn't thinking about it, left it there for it did its thing for 2 hours, whatever. I went back, stirred a little bit, took a bite of it, and oh my God, it was the best thing I have made. I cannot tell you how long it was so good. It was addictive. And then I realized, oh shit, I put like a whole thing of butter in here. No wonder it tastes so damn good. So I had to actually, so that none of us got like, like everything sliding through, I had to like put it in a calendar and let some of the butter strain off of it before we actually ate it. But I'm telling you, that was so good.
I'll tell you for crock pot, I think you sent me something a few weeks ago, and it's because when chuck roasts, watch for chuck roasts.
Mm,
They've been cheap. They were down to like 199 a few weeks ago.
wow.
And you get like a 4 or 5 pound thing of chuck roast. It used to be called seven bone roast too, but chuck roast is what they is more familiar with. You put it in the crock pot. Well, actually, you take, I think it's 2 or 3 cloves of garlic
Hmm.
in the bottom of the crock pot. You cut up one onion, then you put the meat on top of the season the meat, um, then lay it on top of the onion
Hmm.
and cover it in water and go away for 8 hours. Of course, your house smells fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, about 2 hours before it's done, you can always add in like carrots and potatoes if you want. But what you will get is you will get this lovely seasoned meat, and it falls apart. It'll fall apart like the beef tacos with the shredded beef. That's the kind of meat it is. So
Nice.
you have that. You can use that for a lot of different things,
Right.
but then you've got this big pot that you can turn into gravy if you want. So you
Mm,
got all that meat water with the onion and the garlic seasoning and the salt that came off of the meat, and then you can stir in a little um what is it cornstarch,
hmm.
and make yourself up a real nice gravy to go with that, and then
That's
serve it
really good.
with serve the potatoes and the carrots, the meat, and then gravy the whole fucker.
Mm.
That's a real good, and it's such an easy pot uh a hot what is it, slow cooker recipe. Really simple. And you can do the same thing with frozen chicken breasts or thighs. just throw them in frozen, same onion, same garlic, cover it with water, go to work, go to your room,
Uh,
and then just wait to the smell to come through.
right. That's what I'll be doing. Pretty much because mom's not supposed to eat red meat hardly
Oh,
anymore. So uh that's pretty much what I will do because I have like just I get frozen chicken tenders. They're
right.
actually one of the things that's actually a bag of those is pretty affordable right now. So I just get like about probably over the course of the month about 6 bags of it, and that's I boil it down and
Yeah.
use it in pretty much everything.
And
So I mean,
it'll do it slow boil.
yeah,
So,
that
and
sounds
it's the
really
nice
good.
thing is you do it in the morning and it's done by dinner. And and like I said, because I remember when I would do that, the same recipe, and I would go off to work and come home and go, oh, that's right. I forgot I have that in there. Oh, and then you're picking at it, while you're prepping it and stuff like that. It's really good.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to boil or slow cook the potatoes and carrots, you can always cut them up, put them into a microwave safe steamer,
Mhm.
steam them for until the potatoes and carrots are soft, and then just serve them. They don't have to cook in the thing.
That I like that idea. I like
Yeah.
that a lot.
Anyway, yeah. Well,
Yeah. Okay. Before
thank you, Moose.
yes.
Yum.
Okay. Sorry, I lost my place there.
Me too. I'm like,
I'm like going. I'm like having all these ideas about things to go cook and everything. And of course, we probably won't want to go out this week if somebody gets indicted. Who knows what crazy there might be out there.
oh,
All right, hey, Golden Rule Services want you to know about an important tool in preventing you from contracting HIV. PrEP is a medication proven to be 99% effective when preventing HIV infection. To learn more about PrEP, visit sacgrs.org and find Tom's other podcast at swannerandjudd.com. Find Matt's books at justkisstheguy.com. Find all our links to everything. There's like 20 of them over there, I think, at allmylinks.com/Chubs Gone Wild. And give us a call at
40869. Chubs.
I was thinking anticipation. So awesome. All right. Well, that's our show for this week. Again, happy birthday, Cappy Bacon.
Bacon, 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 bacon,
And,
bacon.
and we will catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.